So shooters and reloaders out there, it's Fortune Cookie 45 LC coming to you from the Hot Lead Zone. And suppose you're reloading 38 Special. And you're using these 148 grain wad cutter bullets. Or perhaps you're loading the Keith 170 grain semi-wad cutter. But you're running into a problem. Problem is that you've gone ahead and belled the mouth of your case so the bullet can go in. And we want to do that to keep the lead from shaving as it's being seated. But the problem you're having is the Lee cedar die. You see what the problem is? When the press pushes the die, when the press pushes the case into the die straightens out the bell. And when that happens, you seat the bullet with the cedar die, and then when you take the case out with the seated bullet, you got a ring of lead there. We don't like that. That is a major problem. And you can't do anything about it with the Lee 38 caliber 357 Magnum cedar die. It just does that. You see? Well, here's the solution. You take a Lee 44 Magnum cedar die, and you see that just goes right in. It's not going to straighten out the bell. So then all you need is the 44 Magnum cedar stem to do the job with the 38 caliber bullets. So you take the stem out, and you find out that the stem is for round nose bullets. And you're doing semi-wad cutters or wad cutters. So what do you do to solve that problem? Because when you use this stem with a round nose, you'll either round off your semi-wad cutter or your wad cutter. You want the stem to fit. So here's what you do. You take your cedar stem and you wrap it in some toweling because you don't want to upset the little flange there, you see. So you wrap it in enough toweling to protect that flange, and you put it in a vise. So can you see how we protected that stem with the toweling in the vise? And then use the file to go ahead and flatten that stem, but keep the little nib of the round nose right in the center, so that helps us keep this file cut square. And then when you get close to finishing, you want to use light pressure to really get that nice and square and smooth, and do a good job filing this thing flat. Now if you like, you can bevel that sharp corner, but you don't really have to. Now we reassemble the die. Make sure it drops in. You can use a 44 Magnum or 45 Colt die to seat 38 Special bullets this way. And you might ask, does that cause some concentricity problems for the seating of the bullet? And the answer is no. Let me show you what I mean. We'll just go ahead and put one of these rounds in there and use it to get our seating depth. Like so. Then we'll show you one of those. Take the powder into the case. Line up a bullet. Just as eyeball straight. And then when you put it in, seat it nice and smooth. Now if you look carefully, let's get that in focus for you. There is no lead shaved, and the little distance there between the crimping groove and the case mouth is even. So reloaders and shooters, you notice how that bullet is a little bit crooked there? If you were to make one quick stroke, that bullet will go in cockeyed. But if you feel the bullet hit the seating stem and you start to straighten it out and turn it, and bump it, let it find its center, and pretty soon it'll straighten itself out so that you've got a straight seated bullet. Plus you can see there's no damage to the nose of the bullet. So here's the bullet to seat, and you run it into that 45 Colt die with a modified seating stem flattened out, seat your round, and you see, let's give you a close-up of that. There's not any ring of lead on that. See that? We can go ahead and use the Lee factory crimp die to finish off the job. Then we just finish these rounds off with the Lee factory crimp die, which gives us the best crimp in the business. Give you a nice close-up of those. See you next video.